And hopefully I can find, unless, you know what? Allie, do you happen to have from this morning the link, the Pinterest link that I put up? Because apparently I did not save it and it was something I found separately. You might have it in your, or okay. Oh wait, here's one.
Deb
Okay.
does.
Deb does? Okay. Oh, let's see. The Pinterest, let's make sure it works. It does. Thank you very much. I know somebody did. Thank you for coming to the rescue. All right, so we're gonna do, let me share my screen. Oh, and yeah, 30, that's right, 30 Tangle bucks for to Deb. Yay. Because I try to keep like everything up, and for whatever reason, that one I got rid of because I found a different version of this in my Pinterest, and then I saw this, I'm like, oh, and this is actually from Zen Linea, and I would much rather put that. And I wanted this because if you go to her website, you have to scroll to find it, and I didn't want to do that. All right, so as I am sharing my screen, just so you all know that are new to us, you can work on whatever you want with whatever you want. It's all good. And we're going to explore this tangle. And as you know, this morning, let's see. Oh, and well, Dawn, say you can save it when I send out the recap. I will send it with. But that is, you know, I'm quite unfortunately, honestly, behind on getting those out. So if it's something, if you're on a small device, it might be hard to save it, but I will, or email me if you don't see it, and then I'll get that out. All right, and then also my version of the step out. There we go. Okay. Oh, and we'll just start with this, and we'll go back to the other. That way we end it on a beautiful note instead of mine. I did not redo mine, as I was thinking I would. I should actually, what I should do is just put the notes right here in this last little box, and that I came up with from the first class. Okay, so with Khala, we're going to start with an orb in the center of wherever you want it, and then 6 orbs around. And this one now, I mean, you could probably put more or less. It's going to obviously then turn out different. 6 would be this. Oh, and I'll share the other thing when I'm done with this. What I noticed is, like, we have, well, no, I take it back. I'm trying to think how to word this right. Because this, I mean, obviously it's going to end up to be a triangle-esque. Well, hi, Lyric. Are you new to us? I don't remember seeing your name. And from Detroit, from Detroit. Another neighbor. If you're new, I think you're Rochester Hills, and I'm in Ipsy. All right. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, you know, these 2 orbs are like in a line with, you know, straight across. But then if you, depending on how you turn your paper, 2 of them are always going to be, you know, relatively straight across from each other. So 6 orbs around, however you want to do it. Try to get them evenly spaced, and then I would have your paper positioned wherever you want the top, one of the tops of the triangle that we're going to create to be. And then you see how it's the leftmost orb. We're going to take that, kind of using the takeoff and land concept. And so starting on the outside of that orb, we're going to make you know, a curved line up to the top. And then here, just prior to this, if you wanted to put dots for that triangle, that was kind of helpful. So just to give you a shooting point. And then, you know, we're turning the tile. We're going to skip an orb and do the same thing. Skip an orb, same thing. So going to those 3 points of the triangle. Then we're going to aura those essentially. So as you see, and we've done this motion with several other tangles. So coming around the, you know, the auraing the orb part. And you know, and I'll leave it to you if you want to touch the orb or not, but coming around and then extending it just past where you just were. Okay. And then we do that for all the remaining 2, I guess. And then here's where you could get caught up, because we're going to do Same thing, but going in the opposite direction with the orbs that are left. So as you can see in step 5, it's, like I said, same idea, but we're hollow bowing underneath what we've created here, this, this little opening. So hollow bowing under there and then landing on the point that is already there. So you're going to meet that line with whatever line is already there. The closest line, we'll say. Same thing all the way around. And then the outer one, same as we did in step 4, all the way around, still hollow bowing. And then that one meeting that last line. All right, so here was the part that I got hung up on. And my top little line, so because when I'm looking, and we'll look at Zen Linea's in a second, she added this extra line. Well, let me flip to hers right now, just so, you gave it to me. Where did it go? Blah, there. See in this, there in her number 6 step, she has this hers is very beautifully done anyway, but see these little lines creating a triangle on the inside. I'm like, oh, it's just auraing what's already there. So that way, no matter what you did, it'll still look good. But then as I did it, and if we look back at mine, I'm like, yeah, well, no.
You know what, though, Heather?
Yeah.
Look closely at hers.
Yes.
Go back to hers. They don't line up.
Some of them don't, but
they don't.
Oh, wait. No, but if you look at it closely, the line seems to line up with the edge of the orb, the outer edge of the orb. So they don't, some of them, yeah, because I see like right here, it doesn't necessarily, but it gives the impression, yes, of the Celtic knots. But what I decided on my real one that I did is I put 2 lines in there. So well, oh yeah, you can look up into the little square on mine, but when I'm finished, then I'll show you. So I put 2 lines in on this last step.
Okay, and you'll have to show us because we can't.
Yeah, so I'll show, yeah, so, and it ended up turning out really good. So there's an option. Let's see. Ali says, I noticed that the lines in step 2 start off very curved. Yeah, but by 6 they're straight. Yeah, isn't that? I'm like, isn't that funny?
Yeah, because you have to draw them over and over and over again, and it's hard to get that same curve in there. That's why.
It is. That is the hard part with drawing these. But this is where we go to the, it just really doesn't matter, matter. But yeah, because 3 is much more curvy than even 2, and then and that's how this is like, oh, look at how gorgeous that is. Why doesn't mine turn out that way? Well, because it doesn't matter, and it's going to turn out however it turns out. So this is just an example. Your results may vary. So as you can see here, that's my example of, it doesn't matter how it turns out. It's all good. Okay. And Allie's grabbing her rogue hat. All right, so let's see. I think that was all I wanted to share on that, but let me stop the screen share and show you on what I did earlier. If you can see that I use this light green, but so, because here's what I was thinking. Because the way
it's wait. It's blurry. It's working on it. Now it's better.
We'll try it with that one.
That one was clear.
Okay, good. So, because what I noticed for the most part, hers, it was lined up with, like I said, the outside of the orb. And so it really gave the impression of, where you could just follow this. It's like, where does it start? Where does it end? I don't know. Mm-hmm. So when I did that, and some of them were still off and I had a lot of room, so I just put another one in that kind of sort of lines up with this. And so we'll just wait till we get to that part and see what happens.
Yeah. Because she had hers so close together, she didn't have to put another line in.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, and I think as much as I try to and I'm gonna cheat. I've never used these 3 Z's, and I'm thinking I might create something. I don't know from them. Ooh, although no, that light green did not do very good. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to do one big one and I'll use a thicker pen.
Kathy made a fatal mistake already. That's because you didn't wait until Heather started.
See, yeah, but you know that by the time you wait for Heather to start, just kidding.
Yeah, you won't be the only one that has started ahead.
No, that's why I talk extra. Oh, let me use these pencils or pens. They were nice. Oh, here's a 5. Okay, kind of a green blue. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do this because because I said, oh, I should grab the triangle ties, and then I felt like I was cheating because then I have something to aim for, right? But let's just start it here, just from scratch. Oh, and let me move my light over. Okay. So again, a orb in the center, however big or small, probably bigger, a little bit bigger, the better. Oh, and that says I'm full of mistakes, but I know how to fix it exactly. All right. Oh, shoot. And yes, hold on. I there was one more thing I wanted to show. See how easily I'm distracted today. So this was all of the this was what the all I sent that in Messenger. Wait, I'm resending it. This is Tom's wedding ring.
Oh my gosh. Ha,
Isn't that cool?
that is.
That is super cool. Then okay, then the trick is, well, let's see, wait. And then if take it around, yeah, then you have to put some extra lines in there to carry from the next to the next, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really. That is super cool though. Uh,
It could be
oh,
his cheaty thing for the class.
that's right. Where does that line go? That
Mm.
is just so cool. All right, so I'm going to start here. So I'm going to do a north south with the smaller orbs, and then try to fit them in as evenly as I can around the outside. Okay. And oh, Kim said her dad's was like that. Oh, that's nice. That's neat. And Haley says, wait, Tom is married? You guys, they're so funny. Okay. And then honestly, you could then position, so from here, if you haven't started yet or you want to start over, you could
Because if you're already done, then
then yeah, you could put so like I'm putting a little light dot here, and this one you have to make sure to leave a little room, because we're working to the outs, we have a line that's going to go to the outside of this. All right. And hi, Kathy. I don't know if you're just joining us. We're going to have you turn off your webcam though for now. So if you're trying to get things situated, and if you can't figure it out, I can do that. It looks like she's figuring. No, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, that's right. Lisa's cough. I should explain. Tarla, power couple, is Tom and Carla. Yes, we named them that as soon as when we decided that they had to have a power couple name, so that's what they came up with. So, all right. Okay, so as I was, well, we'll just see what happens here, because I did my dots, and okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I said leftmost. We'll see. I'm going to overshoot my little dots. And then skipping one, like I said, going from the outside of the orb to the end so that we end up with something like this. Then we're going to come around here, because part of me was thinking too, like, it's like, oh, well, do I have to figure out at this point here, how to angle that, this aura, so that way it, if we're trying to get things to kind of line up after the fact, halabawi. And that's the challenge with the Celtic knot stuff, is that, how to do it without having graph paper.
I'm done. What's the next one? I like that one. That's fun.
Yeah.
But I like the way you did it with the 2 lines, because you can line them up, and then they look much more like they're supposed to look.
Wait, 2 line what?
The 2 lines
With
in the
the 2 in the
inside.
2 lines.
Yeah.
It makes it it's like it makes it extra.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, and it look yeah, it does look really, really neat like that. Okay, and so then, let's get this first one. What I liked about this single, because there was a different one that I was thinking to do, and I was like, "No, no, no, this" I was getting confused by it, so I'm like, there's no, this is a Tough Tangle Tuesday one." And then when I looked at this one, I like the organization of the steps. Even though there seems to be more steps, at the same time, it's like, orbs, orbs, and then, curved lines, but we're repeating the same steps, where the other one, there was a lot of, "Oh, fit this put this line here, put that line there, put this line here," and it wasn't very, uh, close to the Zentangle rules or, concept, if you will, then, it was like, "Oh, here's how you can draw this," type of thing. I mean, it was close. I'm gonna take another look at it, see if I can make more heads or tails because it was really cool. Oh, and look it. I was thinking that this wasn't gonna well, let's wait. Let me wait until I get to this last one. Yeah, because the over and unders and stuff, it's just like that is the hard part with the Celtic knot things. But that's why I said I like this because you're doing the same thing. It's same thing, different direction in the second half, just hollow bowing underneath. It's all good. For those new to Zentangle, I apologize. To Halabow is the art of drawing, and feel free to put questions in here. And if I miss it, we have several assigned to open up their mic and go,
Yeah.
check the chat. Here's the question. To Halabow is to draw underneath, and so I should go back and explain. So as I was drawing these lines, this one on the, like I said, I'm calling it the second health. Self-appointed helpers, Ellie says. Yeah, they're on staff with imaginary tangle bucks. Um, so and you kind of air draw over. So it's like with one thought process. Okay, here's my line, and then I pick up my pen when I come to here, and then put it down on the other side and continue on. And that really, really helps, to make it look uh magical, as if you did something and erased it or something. We don't do that. Put lines in and then erase
Heavens,
them
no.
later. We're not supposed to. All
Who
right.
would even
And
who would even think of doing something like that?
right? Well, and the very first one I found that I wanted to do, and it was, I mean, and both of these other ones are CZT, so which, um, and she started with, and actually I think it was this same shape, and it was doing it in pencil and calling it your string line and then oraing around that. But then, it misses the Zentangle point. And I like to create things like this that's like, no, I don't have to unless you want to. But this kind of looks neat even without having the bit in the middle. All right, so now, all right, and I well, no, because see this one ends up really weird. You kind of lined yours up a little
Yes,
bit.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, let me find it. Well, no, none of them are good enough to start. So finding, so to put the lines in here, so I'm lining this outside one up with this outside one as best I can. It'll be a little off, and you can, like I said, you can air draw. It's like, okay, this would probably come out this way. This one is just kind of by the uh edge of the dot. So we can do like that and then come down and just, curve it, just make it work. Go slow. Uh-oh, bye, Kathy.
What? She's leaving already?
Okay, Colleen is okay. Thank you for saying that. So that way I can start over on a new one. This time I'll do it on the triangle. All right, and that's what, yeah. So I want to make sure you put in the chat, and I hope Kathy wasn't lost. If Kathy, if you're still with us, if you were lost,
You should have stayed a minute.
stay, and yeah, we'll do it again.
Let's hope she just was hungry, or the dog had to be let out,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Okay, let me grab an 01. We'll try that. And hi, Becky. Are you just joining us? We have the time thing. Oh, see, because we'll have you turn off your webcam. For now, that's why I was guessing that maybe you just joined us. No, okay. And okay. So for those that are lost, well, mine didn't. Well, not so much. Just kind of a triangle, you know. So I'll use this. We'll see if it helps. Probably not. And let me, for those that are just joining in late, the stupid time change, and I don't know. I did send an email out somewhere, but I don't remember which list. Okay, that was the link to mine. Here is the link to the Pinterest, so that way you have it. You could reference it later. All right. So, I don't know, this might be harder. But you know what? No, I still feel like it's cheating.
I think it would be easier not on the triangle, because I
Yeah.
think no matter what you do, those points are not going to go exactly in three equal directions.
Right. Okay, so starting over. Orb in the center of wherever you want it. Yeah, and this morning I was just I don't know what the right word was. I wasn't distracted. I was like disheveled brained. That's the best thing it felt like. It's like, because I kept changing my mind, and I was not finding, because of course I waited till the morning to figure out, which is what I usually do. And then I was like, oh, I gotta commit to something here. Time was ticking, and I was still arranging things as stuff was starting. So, all right, then smaller orbs around. So like I said, I'm going to start with a north and a south, and then fit 2 in on the other sides. So that we were fitting 6 around. You could think, what would that be? 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 12 o'clock rock. And then on the other side, and I mean, part of the beauty of Zentangle is that it is not perfect. So don't get that thought out of your head. We're going to have to, oh, okay, now I have other musicals in my head. Now, I had mentioned from, was it South Pacific? I'm going to wash that man right out of my, we're going to wash the perfectionism thoughts out of our hair. I need to find somebody that sings and does humor, and I can just tell them what to do. And okay, I had mentioned you could put dots, but I'm not going to worry about that, because that in some ways was also hard. So having this wherever you want it positioned, the leftmost dot. Yeah. Charlie says we might be transcending on this one. We'll see. And I have Joe singing Rock Around the Clock. All right, so from the outside of the orb, we're gonna do a curve line. Just, here's what you could eyeball. You could eyeball this. Let me just do it. So coming from the outside, using your natural curve of your hand, like that. You could eyeball like center of the orb if you wanted to. That could help. But at the same time, don't worry about it. Then turning your paper, your tile, and then skipping an orb. The next one, same thing. And this is where if you turn your tile and you're using the natural curve of your hand and kind of going the same distance, you could maybe get some consistency. You might get consistency that you didn't expect. Like that. We'll see at the end. All right. I'm hoping those that were lost are still with me here. Then we're going to aura, which is essentially to outline, but we're going to start on the line, coming around the orb and then to the outside of these lines we just did. And it's okay, you know, I'm touching this orb, then coming up and around and extending it a little past where this line is. And then we do that for all three. Yeah, I should have a disclaimer apology in the beginning that sometimes in trying to explain it, it makes it sound worse than it is. And then I, you know, calm down and find other words and it all works good. Okay, Lavender's with me so far. And Colleen, are you with me so far? Because okay, good. This is where it seemed like on the earlier session that some got uh had the issue. So now the remaining orbs, we're going to go the opposite direction. So it's the same, we're doing the same thing except opposite, which then that really is not the same thing. I always say that it's like it's same but different. Oh, Jen's doing better, yay, even though Jen's was really cool this morning. So, but it's same concept, we'll say it that way. So from the outside, you know, pick an orb. So I'm going to go from the outside of this orb to this dot, or to the end of this line, excuse me. So same idea, but we're hollow bowing, forgot that. We're hollow bowing underneath this. So if you watch, picking up the pen, traveling it over, putting it down afterwards on the other side, and then continuing on. All right, and I got 2 more chances to explain that. So hopefully that made sense. Because yeah, it's the hollow bow is the thing that we're the hollow bow and then we are actually aiming for this point. Although, let me miss it on purpose. Because if you're just doing this really nice curve and you're like, oh no, look it. Well, that's all right. Because you can just do this and make it meet up. It's all good. And then we'll do the last one. And I also like this, you know, we're doing the similar strokes. Actually, that is a really great thing to do. Just land it where it lands and then carefully work the two up to a point like that. That works. Although, you know, this is one too. You could stop right here and have fun with that. It's kind of neat having that open end. Is interesting, but we're not going to do that unless you want to. All right, and then same thing here as we did before, auraing around the line, and then hollow bowing underneath that, and coming at least close to that point.
I always want to, well, not always, because this is the only second time I've done this, but I want to do the other 3 right away rather than doing this part where you're auraing it. You know,
Oh,
I want to do the other 3
the opposite
the
way.
opposite way right away, and that doesn't work.
Right, right. Oh, I like this one the best so far. How did I do that? Huh. That has the most triangle look of all of the ones that I've done.
It does. See, practice makes perfect.
Practice. Right. I'm thinking it helped to do, I mean, and then again, it's don't put too much stress on it because having it, you know, um, no matter how it turns out, you still get to have fun with it. Like this one, I added the tangle bead line, which is just, you know, a squiggly line and then you add groupings of 3 orbs on top of it, and because I was using one of those crazy pot pens, that nicely covers over anything in its path, I could go over, where over the lines that I've already done and you don't really see them. So creating that over and under type of thing. Lavender says, I created a triangle string and followed along this time, and she has a triangle shape. There you go. But this one, I'm thinking, eyeballing, thinking center of the big orb. I just think it's really fun not having the artistic natural well, how do I even say it? Not being an artist and doing things like this without, because you can use we call them the cheaty things, to make sure to have your lines and have them exact. I just really think it's fun to not do that. That's why I don't do it. And it's perfectly fine if you, whatever you want to do, that helps. That's fine. I just think it's fun to not. Okay.
I don't think
Then,
I told you. Well, just a quick side note. When I
yes.
did the class Tuesday at OPC, and these were all supposed to be people who had never done Zentangle, had never heard about it. I had 3 that had knew what it was,
Yeah.
and they're working away, and we're getting to the end where we're doing more of the shading and everything. And all of a sudden, this one lady. I mean, I didn't know who did it at first, but all of a sudden, I heard, "Oh!" It was like she amazed herself what she
I
had
love that.
created. It was just like, "Oh," I
Yeah.
thought, "I love that sound."
Yeah. Yeah, the light bulb or the whatever going off. That's
Yeah,
so
it's
awesome.
good.
Oh, well, Lavender says she didn't use any cheated things, but drew the drew the triangle freehand. That's okay. She puts a laughing thing there, so she knows that we're all joking. You know, and it's all fine. All right. And so the last step, and again, I think it's just cool because you could just leave it like this if you wanted to. If you're like, yeah, that last bit, I don't even know. And you could have fun and decorate just like this. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to line up from the looking at these 2 orbs in this section. So on the outside of the orb and this line here, because it's like, well, it just ends there. That we can't have that. Oh, this is true. Allie says, "I don't know why you say we're all joking. I'm serious about my tangling. Always serious. Serious."
Tell us another story.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, Wendy, where were you coming in from? Well, let me double check. Today I was even more on game than normal with the links. I had them in there early. Didn't see it on Eventbrite. See, that is really weird because I changed it. I have to, for those that don't know, I have to change the codes every time because this platform doesn't um do like Zoom, which is one of the reasons I'm going, well, if I ever need to switch, I might go there or just make sure that I can like have a code that is normal. Um, yeah, that's really weird because I know I changed it on there. Somebody else though, Wendy, was having trouble seeing it on Eventbrite, so I don't know. And then sometimes, yeah, if you're coming in through there or meetup.com, sometimes things don't work. I do keep the links on my site, but I'm glad you made it. Do you need me to? I could put the links in. I can start another new one. We've got. Oh, well, I have 10 minutes. What's interesting is that the tangle itself doesn't necessarily take that long. Oh, and thank you, Tarla. Oh, good. Patty says this works better for you than Zoom. Nice. I like that. Thank you, Tarla, for putting those in. Um. Felicity suggested go to eventbrite.com instead of the app. So there's a thought too. Okay, so for this last bit, like I said, I want to start with the outer is what I'm going to do because that's what I feel like doing, and just y- you know, kind of air drawing. So it's like here's where this ends, as if I drew it, and then sort of hollow bowing it on the other side, taking it up, and then could do this too, where you just come down the other side, and as you come down, just slowly have it meet up. And if it's not exact, it's all good. and then this too on this side of the orb. So we have added a step, Wendy, just so that way you know, to the last step just has us putting like one V in, and we as an option you could put in two, so because then it just it's still it's so interesting because it still gives you the the Celtic knotty look.
Even more so because it now
Yeah,
it's a totally continuous line.
yeah,
You can't tell where you started or stopped it.
and it's so interesting that it just adds that little bit of extra. Yay me! And that is how there are no such things as mistakes in Zentangle, because when you're trying to figure out why does that look like, ugh, oh well, let's just add something. Okay, there we go, and then it's all good. And then yeah, these two like that, voila, it's all good. And then decorate and have fun. I feel like I should do one on this white paper. Well, why not? Do I have a nice? Oh, I do. I have a nice juicy 10, and I can try this. Start again for Wendy. We'll do one relatively quickly. No, no. Well, no. I have one that'll be decorated. Oh, and let me just share too, as we have essentially 9 minutes before it's showtime, where we will open up webcams and show everybody what we did for shading. I just went with where the over and unders. So on the outside of the straight lines here, and then that's all I have done so far on this one, and it looks kind of cool. And you could look at mom's. It looks like you did the same thing. Put it a little
Yep,
darker.
yep. On this one, I used colored pencils and I just went darker colored pencils around.
Woo!
But on this one, I used a gray marker and did just the under and over.
Okay. But it looks neat though.
Yes, I love it.
Now this one I did this out on the outside of this one, and I was thinking I was gonna maybe try some Zen bossing or something. I don't know what yet exactly, because I was thinking, or maybe I'll just do the darker green on the insides of these. I don't know. I haven't jury is out, but I because somebody was like, what to do on the outside, and my suggestion was, well, you could do an aura with graphite or whatever, and like this, which I think looks really neat. And I'm like, all of a sudden it pops it right off the page, and I wanted to go with that. So we shall see. All right, so let's start another, because I want to. And for Wendy and anyone else, I don't think, hopefully nobody else is lost. All right. And yeah, and this, I think this was one that I had put this might have been my where I was getting the excess off, because it's a little bumpy, because I can feel the grooves of the paint because it was a little too
Oh,
thick. But with the you know jelly roll, it's fine. Let's see. Inez says, I just ignore being lost. Yeah. uh let's see. And Joy says, mine is pretty wonky. My inside triangle doesn't line up with the first one. That's okay. Because, well, yes, and I'm looking at mine at this one. I'm like, yeah, this one, it totally, yeah, totally doesn't. But it's one of those you really have to look and see. Oh, and then two, so something that, and this is where then the creative problem solving comes in. All right, how do I course correct for that? Because it could um, fill in with a nice darker color, because that way I could course correct this and fill that in, say using that same pen color, fill it in, but then maybe uh, as I'm coming around, not fill all of it in solid, but like go into like some stippling or something, so it looks like it's um so it looks like I meant it. Is this what I used? I think it is. So like for instance, Ooh, although, is that gonna lose it around the orb? Oh, it will.
Mm,
If I fill it all in, then you lose the path.
yes, you do.
Oh, then you could just outline it in black.
You could do that.
Okay, making a right mess out of this one. Well, here's what I was meaning, just so I could say. So, like, if I was doing this, and I think I will, I'll go back over this with a black pen. But I did this with something else where I was, filling in, filling in, filling in, and then just kind of went to dots, right? The stippling, so heavier, um, and then thinner, thinner, so it's something like that. So it's like shading with the pen, and that's it. So just a thought. Okay, let's see if I can get this last one done in 5 minutes. And you are so right, Felicity. Life is too short to worry about a small piece of paper. Exactly. We just want to have fun with these small pieces of paper. Okay. And I'm also not going to worry about putting dots on this one because I think that, so that nice curved line up like so. Oh, did I? Okay, well, all right, sort of halfway. Mm, I do just like just, okay, now the don't worry, be happy is in my head. Sorry. Not sorry. Okay. And then we'll aura around these. Okay, and for those that said they were oh wait, was Kathy one that said she was new to Zentangle? I hope we just didn't lose. I'll have to send her an email afterwards. Those that were new to Zentangle Noodles, how are you hanging in there? Hopefully you're still hanging in there. Normally we save ones like this for what I call Tough Tangle Tuesday, which will be next Tuesday. It's also a free session. But I couldn't resist because, like I said, I wanted to do something like this for St. Patty's Day, so I tried to find as easy of one as I can. I should have saved the one I did yesterday, maybe. I don't know. This is fun. It's all good. Okay, Becky, good.
Oh, this is her
All
first
right,
ever try. Well, you know,
good.
y- yeah, because to jump in and do this one as a first try is, more power to you, girl. Because
Well, and oh, okay, Becky. Oh, that's so cool. And Cheryl is hanging in there too. Okay, good. Dawn's getting much better at being good with how it turns out. Yes.
I, I,
Yes.
I have told Heather this before to a lot of people, you know, watching what we do should give them a lot of hope.
That's yeah.
Because there's no way that it always turns out perfect.
Mm-mm. Yeah, like Dawn said, yeah, embracing that part I think is the hardest part of Zentangle. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could take the toughest tangle out there, and I still think that this just being okay with, well, okay, that turned out interesting, and going with it.
Yeah, I had one of the few. I mean, I have always had people who I never saw again. I don't know what happened to them, but one time, one lady said, told me, she said, "I just have to know how it's going to end up. I cannot do this not worrying about how it ends." I said, well, then I guess this isn't for you.
Yeah, you have to be okay with it. It's gonna be a surprise. All right. Oops, I still have 2
I'm
more.
liking it on that back black, dark green background,
Yeah.
and it's not too hard to draw over it. You can see the texture on it.
Oh, can you? Yeah, because it's, yeah, it's
Mhm.
just, and it's a little bit, yeah, a little bit jumpy. And happy early birthday, Miss Alligator. Woo! I hope that you get lots of cool pens and toys to play with. Yeah, but I really do think now I'm tempted. Do I do this with the seniors tomorrow? I don't know.
Mhm.
Sometimes, if I I get my practicing on explaining things and find what works and what doesn't work here. I don't know. There's sometimes where, well, my goodness, what did I
I know.
do?
You did fine. I did the same thing. The other I
Are
got
there
confused as I was coming around.
No, I've
No,
got 3 ends here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah, that's what you're
I
supposed
should
to
just have
have.
2. I don't know.
Oh, yes, what did
Isn't
you
it weird?
do?
Uh,
Hmm.
I'm glad it doesn't matter. Oh, and
No,
it's share time.
where
So
does
I'm
that
just gonna
go?
it
That
should
doesn't
go
go.
here, but it's gonna go there for now. All right, so everybody share. Well, I have
Oh,
no idea what
Antonia,
I did.
what you did. Oh my goodness.
There we go. Oh, what? All right, which one do I wanna show?
Not that last one.
Yeah, that's just, well, it's just, you just go, "Okay, whatever." Oh, yeah, because I kinda have 3. There we go. It'll be a pile like that. There, oh, there's nice. Look at these.
Mine are kinda lopsided.
Wait,
I,
let's
I,
see.
I don't want to say all of them are, but mine are. Oh, I like what Jackie did with two of them like that.
Oh, yeah, you know what? There's a tangle called, is it Infinity? That looks similar to that, where you do it, like, on 2 halves. That's really, really cool.
Choices looks like a gem.
Neat. Well, oh, we have 2 pages. Things just all of a sudden, they started turning like Vanna White on here. That was weird. Alright, so we'll keep, oh my gosh! We have a lot on page 2. Okay, very good. Oh, Canaries, that turned out really good. Okay. Keep them okay. If this is gonna be it, I always say keep them coming, but, um, they are amazing. Alright, let me get my other thing up. Alright, so, oh, okay, hold them steady
As possible.
as, yeah, as possible. Oh,
Happened to
oh, and I
Diane.
got Diana's before it went black. Okay,
Okay.
hold on one second. Alright, I got them all. Yay! And so what I'll do is, so I will turn off my webcam also. Hi, so here. And we'll, got rid of now. Ellie's got a rogue hat. You go out and buy a top. For those that don't know, Joe said he had his rogue hat on, and then he showed his picture, and he had a top hat with just like Allie's. That is so funny. Or you did steal his.
But no, wait a minute. One's in New York and one's in
It's, the virtual,
across the
is
country.
magic. Tom steals pens through through the lens. It's kind of like on Willy Wonka, right? The smell-o-vision and all of that. All right, so am I sharing my screen? Yes. Oh, and Mom, you can turn yours off.
I
Let
did.
me. Whose is on? No, yours is still on.
No, it isn't.
Or
What did?
it's me.
Oh
There.
wait, no,
Oh, could be a
I hit
delay.
I hit the wrong thing.
All right, let me save this as we're gushing.
It
I'm gonna
fitted
That'll
it
go to
fitted
page
right
2.
into one of the squares so that
Oh,
it didn't look to me like
oh,
it
that's so
was on.
funny. Okay, PM 1, and let me. All right, and we'll look at here at page 2 while I save it. These are fantastic. Where does one start? Oh my gosh. Um, Whoops, wrong date. Okay, there we go.
They should have the reactions. They need to have a little uh, leprechaun going across there,
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't have to suggest that.
or a
They need to have
shamrock
it.
or something.
Yes, they don't have it for that. And look at
Oh,
Rosemary did 4 or did
or
would have been
yes.
8. Love that. Okay, and look at what okay, where do I start? Where do I start? Okay, on that side apparently. I love what Kim did. And so sometimes, for those new, when we're looking, it's like, oh, I'm going to steal that idea. And if not for this one, but for something else, some of it's just the concepts. Because, and I think somebody earlier did something, oh no, it was different. But still shading things in can be a way to kind of course correct or take your eyes off of something. Um, and looking at Kim's and how she filled in that background. Because then it doesn't matter whether they line up or not, because you
Yeah.
filled in the background a little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
In
yeah,
Laura's, that's the only one I remember seeing that was that pointed. But I like the look of that. And Mel,
yeah.
you better not let anybody eat off of that plate.
It's just amazing.
That is beautiful.
And look at, yeah. Well, and see, and this is another way. So the inside, triangle, it doesn't line up or whatever. So you do a pattern in it, like Mel did.
Right. And it doesn't, you don't
Y-
even notice if it's, and then she did little ones in between.
Yes, that's
And
just
Nancy did
wow.
poke leaf poking in and out. That's beautiful.
Love that.
And wait, how do you say it again?
Uh,
Nearest.
yes.
You know how I know? Because the lady that I took art lessons from when I was a kid, her name was Cheris. So
Oh,
every time I see that, I'm gonna think
here.
Neris.
Okay.
Um, did a great job having
Yeah,
not done this ever.
that is amazing. Love it. And then as you see from what other people did too, you can decorate the outside if you wish. But I like how she did, kind of like I think you did as well, putting that framing border
Hmm.
and filling in with some color. It's just so neat. And then oh, so here, nice job. I like how so here uses you know, a bigger sheet of paper and has different inceptions and playing with it. But I love especially that center one. And again, they just don't matter how they come out. Oh, Sharon, nice. And some of them are just it's just like, oh, that's so pretty. Look at just Sharon's shading. Because if you can get them, you know what? And maybe even if you can't get them lined up, I might try it on one of mine that's not. But
I
look at
did
how she has the shading going.
I
You
did
know.
that on mine. It doesn't show up as neatly as hers, but
Oh,
I
okay.
did do that.
That's just neat having just creating that line and just that little top part. And Sharon did some nice crescent moon around hers. So neat. And Sandy, wow, look at that prepped paper. That is so cool. And the perfing around both the outside and on the inside, that helps. Yeah, so going back to Rosemary's, it's so
Yeah,
pretty.
I'm almost thinking this would be easier to do on a square, doing 4 of them like that.
Mhm.
Because you have a better direction to go because
Yeah.
sorry, this seemed like one point was really short and the other 2 were really long, trying to fit them into a square.
Yeah.
Unless I would have done it smaller and not really worried about where they were pointing. But
Right.
that's a neat
Right.
idea. And Tedra's looking
Oh
like
my goodness.
with what's it in the middle? The ball?
Oh, it looks like jetties. Oh, and there's
Jetties.
some jetties on the outside. Oh, that's so
Mhm.
cute. And Tarla, well, I don't think either one. Well, you say was it? Did you say Carla's was going to maybe transcend hers? I think that looks really cool.
Yeah. Well, you've got 4
Really?
points too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks, Becky. Hope you join us again. And we'll flip to the front page. And I mean, and I like Tom's out the outer of Tom's I mean is curved, and then the
Mhm.
inside is
It's
straight.
great. Oh, yes.
And and somebody did this earlier too, which I think is really neat. He disregarded, didn't make it line up with anything.
Oh,
And how
no.
about the in between the things?
Yes.
So
So
you could
it
do
just
that too. If it's
yeah, it
just
just
you
looks
want
like
to.
it's overlapped. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
all good. All right, let's go. I did say that, yes. All right, to the first one. Oh my goodness. And
Oh,
Allie,
alligators looks like a plant, doesn't it? It's just
oh,
gorgeous.
wow.
I'm sorry, but that does not look like the same pattern that the rest of us did.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's like, and then you look like, okay, well, let's see. Can we find it in there? Oh, it's gorgeous. And what's so fun is, oh, Ellie was going for the succulent score.
That's what it looks like. It really does.
And it's one of those, don't tell us, because it's like, we don't know if it's one of those, if you meant it or not. But it's like when you just something goes one direction and you just keep going with it, the consistency of whatever you did, nobody needs to know. Our secrets stay with us. It's all good. And Antonia, wow, look at that. Oh,
That took a lot of time to do all those little scallopy little
yeah.
lineys.
Oh, and Becky's turned out nice too, even though she just left us. But wow, look at that. And I think she was first time. I think
Okay.
I have to go back and look, but
And Cheryl,
oh,
was Cheryl too?
I think,
I like her orbs on the corners, on the outer corners.
yeah, I can't remember. No, yeah. Maybe Cheryl was the one that has been tangling for 10 years, but first time with us.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
else has a better memory, I'm sure. As I see Allie's typing. Oh no, it wasn't that. Um, and Miss Diane D.D. Zenning awaits. Look at that! Oh, how neat that one with the curly cues. That is just, it's like, okay. Some of it is just fun. It's like, well, how did you get to that? Oh no, Cheryl's new. Okay, well, oh my gosh, Cheryl.
Well,
Apparently,
you
you look like
amazed
you've been
us.
tangling for 10 years because it's amazing. How nice is that?
Well, you can't quit
Oh,
now.
yep, yep. Hopefully, you're hooked. Oh, and Deb's. I try to go in order, or some kind
Yeah,
of order, so that
I
way we
like
don't
I
doesn't
like
miss.
what Deb did with the fluxy shapes or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not really a flux shape, but whatever that
Oh,
is, I like.
kinda, yeah. But it's, yeah, with the printouts and, and all of the, yeah, the spirals around. That is just so neat. And
And Diana,
Diana,
she's
woo,
making use of some of her prep tiles.
yeah, I love it. It's like Las Vegas with the perfing on the inside. Um, okay.
Yeah, that yeah, I mean, that's why it's always just an experiment.
Experiment. Yeah. Yeah. And
Some
Diana,
Sometimes
nice.
pens will work on one thing and then they
Oh,
won't work on another.
yeah, and then having, if you're working on a surface like that, just have something to wipe the tip off with so that way it doesn't get clogged. Um, is neat. Oh, we have two Diana. So that was Diana R. Diana Whitley, nice. I like those, yeah, those scallops around the outside. Kind of crescent moonish.
And
And
Diane
then
did hers several and did several in different ways, which is interesting.
nice.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
Elaine's with the ruffle around the edge. That's really
mm, yeah. Because Allie, you did that on the earlier one, I think, right? And
or
we did ruffles
yeah,
around the outside.
somebody said
Brilliant.
did it this
And I
morning.
love I love Elaine's take on that and on that pretty prep tile. And Felicity's, look at that. Oh, look at she did see, and she got that just that. Oh no, no. If I look carefully, I can see the triangle on the inside, and I think that's the secret. If it's not lining up, just make sure to put the whatever lines and hollow it well in every little gap that would be possible,
Mhm.
so that way it's like, nope, this isn't. This is just sitting on top of something else. And oh, Inez, wow. Oh,
Inez, you need to put some white in there, in that colored one.
oh,
Some to make it show up more. It's the
yeah.
colors are beautiful.
Make it look
I
juicy.
tried to, Cherie, but it didn't quite I used the chalk, and it didn't quite
Oh,
stay,
Oh, no.
so I'll
No,
figure it out.
gel pen. Gel
Okay.
pen would work. But
yeah. And
if
it
nothing
might
else,
still
just the outline or something because it's beautiful.
that's gorgeous.
And I love the sand swirl in the background
Mm,
of your other one and the colors on your other ones. It's pretty.
yeah. And
Jackie had
Jackie's, oh,
commented on hers before. I like the two of them, the way she did that.
yeah. And the nice, neat divider,
Mhm.
auraing in the line. That's just gorgeous. And Jen, whoa, that is cool. That turned out really good.
Joe, is that border that Joe did? Is that one that you did on a daily thing or something?
Yeah,
Because
that was, I think, yesterday's.
okay, it's very interesting. That looks very tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I was one of those, oh, I should have waited. It is, I figured out how to pronounce it, Niven, or yeah, technically today's, yeah. Niven, Nyvyn by Teresa Fessler. Yeah, and what I was looking at was another Teresa Fessler one, and I was just like, no, this is giving me a headache. So, all right, Wendy, have a good night. But yeah, nice job, Joe. Yeah, and that's just that is a neat one. It is really it starts off, Mom, like Huggins, and then
Oh, okay.
um, and then or similar to what we did with this one, or in kind of the same way
Mm-hmm.
each section, and then kind of ending with that muka bit.
Mook was right up there with Knightsbridge with me.
But really, or
Yes,
at least
really.
the end part.
I like doing Elegant, which is
Yes.
sort of the Mooka thing, but just the Mooka with the two coming in different directions. I never did like that one.
Okay.
No.
Oh, and Joyce. Now she said hers turned out wonky.
What? That doesn't well
No,
well, wonky is the same thing that the points don't evenly touch the borders, but you know, that
it's all
doesn't
good.
it just doesn't matter. It's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love the shades of gray and then that intense jewel in the middle. It's beautiful. It looks like Judith emphasized the colors in her background by coloring
Yeah.
in. That's what I did on the first green one that I did.
Hmm. Yeah, that is so nice, and that's it's so fun when you do that because it's just yeah, that's so cool.
And Kathy
But yeah,
did a wonderful job.
yeah.
I like that she
What are
has
the
like partial ones coming in
yeah.
that
How neat is that? But and I was saying, and going back to well, see, that's something that Joyce could do. Joyce, if Joyce is still on and wants to, that's where all of these ideas, adding like the say I want to say it looks like Hollis, but it's not. The curlicues like Deb did on the outside, and then you just fill in,
yeah,
where it's not even, and it's all good. So. Oh, okay, Luna. Well, we'll see you. Oh, and I did not put in, and you might have. Um, um, let's see. Oops. And I did put in the weird. Yeah. Oh, and Joe put that in there also. The name of the tangle that that we did yesterday. The one that he used for his border, and it was and the neat thing with hopefully that link works. I will test it right now. And yes, it does. So for those that are new, the link I just put in is my link tree, and so it has links to everything: email, Facebook, our Facebook community on Facebook, or our Tangle Addicts community on Facebook, other things. So if you're not on the group and not on Facebook and want to send me your work so I can put it in the gallery, that would be great. Forgot to yeah, because Teresa is so interesting because she has like families of, and like I see Thomas Padros do this, and you know it's maybe it's an artist thing. You know, she kind of tests an idea and has different variations. They're all kind of different tangles, but that's why I was looking at one that was similar to this, and I'm like, no. Later, another Tough Tangle Tuesday or something. But yeah, it was neat and not necessarily as hard as it looked like it was going to be. So very cool. Well, we'll say bye to the recording.